Imagine in your industry, whatever your industry is, whatever your profession is, whatever your business is, you share the playlist with the video that you're trying to send to somebody. She had 150 subscribers, 2,300 views, and landed a 6,000 pound coaching client.
All right, everybody, welcome. And we are live in the Level Up Your SaaS channel. I'm Jenna Lettingham, if we have not met, bringing all things agency and SaaS related right here on this channel. You can find us again at Level Up Your SaaS on Facebook and YouTube. But today we also have here with us Matthew Hughes, who has taught me a lot about YouTube, and I have learned so much from him about ins and outs of YouTube, how to set it up correctly, and how to get on the process of monetizing your YouTube channel. And without further ado, I want to introduce everyone to Matthew. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to show you this because I think that every business, regardless of what industry you're in, you should have a YouTube channel. And it's one of those things that just builds over time, even if you do like the minimum amount of effort. So super excited to share this presentation with you. Shall I just
Thank you.
crack on, Jenna?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay, cool. So this is how to make money on YouTube for businesses. I will show you, we go through a bunch of stuff where I tell you like how you can make money, but relate it to your own business. Like even if you're doing SaaS stuff, you might do some coaching, some other stuff as well. So hopefully it makes sense as we get towards that part. But I should introduce myself first. Thanks, Jenna, for the wonderful introduction. I am the king of video because the domain name was available. So I became the king of video. That is the story behind that. But really, I had 7 years I had a global video production company. So I was in the US 3 times a year. I was in Europe quite often, and we traveled the world making video for tech companies largely. So it's great to be here with you guys because you'll understand the tech stuff. It was largely Microsoft tech, but it was still really exciting at the same time. I then changed and turned my attention towards YouTube a few years ago now, just after the pandemic, and really got serious with how do we make money from YouTube? Not how do we go viral? How do we become celebrities or anything like that? It's all about doing this as a business, asset library. And I'll talk about that as well as we go through. I'm also a dad, husband, geek and rebel and unapologetically me. And I'm a bit of a potty mouth as well. So just bear that in mind as we go through this presentation. But the most important thing to know is that I am not a viral sensation. So if you want to learn how to go viral, or if you want to get millions of subscribers, that's not what I sell. It's not what I do. I'm all about making money from YouTube from the start. So you don't need to be monetized. Before you start making money from YouTube, you can use it as a lead generation tool. So if you go and check me out on YouTube, you will see that I am no viral sensation. I've got 3,100 subscribers on one channel. And then I've just started a new channel where I'm going from 0 to 100,000 and doing it in public, called Matt Fulltime. It's at Matt Fulltime. So if you want to follow that along, I'm trying to show people that look, you can do it from zero and but in a serious way. It is late here for me, by the way, and I have got a croaky voice. So apologies for that. I'll try and get through this without, without too many issues. What I always ask people at this point is I always say, what do you think of when you think of YouTube? Like, I want you to get the mental picture in your mind of what the first thing that comes to mind when you think of YouTube. And I would hope it's one of these things. And it's probably one of these things. We've got the nod to cat videos, we've got gamers, we've got Swiftomania, we've got cleaning halls, all the kind of standard fails, all the kind of standard things. But right at the top there, I've got a nod to what we're talking about, which is starting a business on YouTube. Because what YouTube is definitely not is a place to store your Zoom calls. You see, I searched for Zoom 01, which is the standard Zoom call file name, and I found a couple of Zoom calls here where there's just nothing to them, right? They've just dropped them on YouTube and they sit there because you can't dump your content on there and then hope it's going to grow. You do have to be strategic and have a strategy around how often you're going to put your content on there, what the purpose of it is, where you're going to send people after they've watched your videos. What do you want them to do when they're watching your videos? So if you're intentional and strategic, that you really can become a unicorn like Erica here. So often if I ask an American audience, they will say that they know Erica. She's definitely bigger in America than she is in the UK, but she's my favorite unicorn because I started following Erica when she was on about 10,000 subscribers and she just blew up her YouTube channel. Her story is that she had a $250,000 a year lawyer job and she quit that to become a YouTuber. Most people would think that's crazy to do that, but she was very strategic, very intentional. And she said to the world, I'm going to go and get featured in Business Insider, US News, all of those publications you can see in the top left. She said that right at the start. This is what I'm doing with this channel. This is what I'm going to do. And she achieved that within a year. She had a little bit of help with the pandemic because she created a video about stimulus checks in America, and she made a legal document into plain English. So she made it easy to understand for the average person. That got her on the front page of YouTube, and account blew up after that. So I don't take anything away from. She's also amazing at creating content now, and she's moved into the finance niche, which is one of the most rewarding financially in all of the niches to choose. So what YouTube actually is then is one of these 5 things. It gives you these 5 things. So an audience, authority, assets, it accelerates their like and trust, and it adds value to your business. I'm going to take you through these 5 A's really quickly, and we'll look at why this is important. And hopefully, as you're thinking about your own business, you should look at these 5 A's and go, yeah, okay, these are definitely the things that I need. And of course, the best place to start is with audience, because you can't really do anything without an audience. And YouTube, of course, is the best place to grow an audience. Again, if you've been in business for any number of time, any length of time, I wanted to ask you, like, have you ever got an email that says, I can get you to the top of Google? I know I get 2 or 3 of those a week, but this is a video that I made. It's the video I hate the most. It's my worst video, and it's at the top of Google if you search for Facebook Live sideways. Now, it does fluctuate. Sometimes Laura Petrucci sometimes beats me with this phrase, but for the few times I've searched for it in private browsing, I've been at the top. So again, if you're thinking about the opportunity here, you can pay for SEO if you want. And if you are paying for SEO or PPC or anything like that, how about you took all the research that you did when you did the paid ads research, you took those long tail phrases like Facebook Live Sideways in my instance here, and you created videos and put them on YouTube. Like, the chances of you organically appearing at the top of YouTube, at the top of Google for those search phrases is much higher from the start, just because you're creating fresh content. As you can see, there's 105 million results. So clearly, getting to the top with that many results is insane. In this example, I've changed this a few times, these screenshots. It's a 5-year-old video now, and it didn't really have many views. I was running a Facebook Live challenge at the time, and people just kept asking me, like, how do I not go sideways? And I got so annoyed and so bored of answering the same question that I was like, I'm just going to create a YouTube video. So it's a 95-second video that just solves that problem for those people. And it didn't really get many views. It was just the people that I was sending to it quite happened. Just the people that I sent to it happened to watch it. Maybe a few others. You can see on the graph here on the bottom left, it's just a small line of people. And then around here, I would imagine that is around March 2020, all of a sudden, a lot of people got online and needed to learn how to do this stuff. So there's a bit of a spike and it settles. And then certainly in the UK, we had lockdown 2, and then it continued. And then there's been spikes since then for other things that have happened. But the point I want you to think about is that, look, you can put a piece of content onto YouTube in 2018, and then it only takes off 2 years later. Me and Jenna were talking just before we started recording this about the fact that Jenna's putting this one piece of content on her YouTube channel every week. That is perfectly fine. That is a strategy that works, because at some point, the person you're interviewing, the person you're talking to, or whatever videos you're creating, at some point they could become really popular, and then it accelerates the growth of your channel. And look at the other stats that I've been told here, like 272 people have watched this awful video and said, I definitely need to see more of Matt's videos. So they've subscribed off the back of it. Forgetting the 55,000 people that have actually watched it, which is a fairly reasonable sized stadium of people watching that content. And then, of course, 850 hours of time has been watched. So in terms of like monetization, where you have to have 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers, this one video alone is accounted for at least a quarter of that, maybe a fifth of it for subscribers, and then a quarter for my watch time as well with one video. So often people say, oh, I really want to get monetized. Let's create content where people actually want to watch the videos. And it doesn't matter about the length of the content either.
Yeah, and if I can add something to that, what's funny too though, even if you aren't monetized, you see those views on your videos, and somebody said to me the other day, he's think about it, if you had a room full of people and you
Yeah.
have maybe 100 views on that video, you'd be glad to have 100 people talk to 100 people. And once I had that kind of mindset more, I'm starting to have more fun with it. And so I think that's important to realize, even if you're not going quote unquote viral with some of your stuff,
Yeah.
people can still get value and you can still be providing like good value and then also supporting to whatever your use case for your YouTube is from people seeing it. And so I encourage you, if you're just getting started, to just keep going and you'll catch on. And but that mindset shift really helped me.
Yeah. And it's so valuable. I'm going to tell you currently right now. And the great part about this is, as I tell you this right now, this will change over time every single day. So my new channel that I started 9 days ago is on 91 subscribers, 3,800 views and 30 hours of watch time. And that's in 9 days. And again, like Jenna said, 3,800 views. My videos are not getting many views. I look at them and I'm like, oh, I could sit and be down about it. I've only got
Yeah.
400 or 500 views each time, but collectively that's 3,500 people that have watched this. And I know that can only increase. It doesn't decrease. So
Right.
your subscribers decrease sometimes because you get dodgy bots and that kind of thing. But your actual views, they just go up and up all the time. So you've got to be committed to the long game for sure.
Right.
Okay, so um, the second A is authority then. So there's three ways I think you can get authority. You can create a book, write a book. You can be a public speaker. And then YouTube is the third way I think that authority status can happen. In this instance, Kelly's asking for a video expert, and I've done a good job around that time, 2020, to be known as a video expert. There's a couple of people here that have tagged me in, and so that meant I was doing a good job, but Kelly didn't know. So obviously I've not done that much of a good job because she was still asking rather than coming to me directly. So here's what I did. I posted and replied. I was a little bit desperate at the time to launch my YouTube channel. So I was asking her to subscribe. I wouldn't do that anymore. But I answered the question. I had a video that would answer the question that she was asking. She was talking about webcams, I think. Imagine in your industry, whatever your industry is, whatever your profession is, whatever your business is, think about someone asking for help with that particular problem that your business, your service, your product or service solves that problem. And what usually happens on somewhere like Facebook is you'll ask. So let's say you ask for a photographer and there'll be like 50 people that reply, here's the photographer I've used. And there's just a sea of people. And it's really hard from a consumer point of view or a business point of view to wade through all those people and decide who's really good or who's just a member of BNI and they're referring to them because they're
Right.
legally obliged to, if anyone knows BNI. So you get a wash of it really. And what happens when you post your YouTube content is that you take the attention away from all of those other people. So as soon as Kelly clicks on my YouTube channel, which clearly she said she has, she subscribed at the bottom there. She's now in my Netflix channel of content. She's now binge watching my content and everybody else that's in that thread is suddenly forgot about. So it's artificial authority status because I could still be really bad at what I do. Hopefully, when she watches the video, she decides that's not the case. But I've got her attention. And so that's really important to think about from an authority status. I just mentioned the fact that it's like your own Netflix channel. I describe my YouTube videos as assets, not necessarily my short form content, but certainly my long form content. They're assets that deliver value and they keep on giving over and over again. We've just talked about the compounding impact of having more views over time. They're searchable. They can be found 2 years later. But you do have to keep sending people to them as well. Don't forget about your content. Don't do what we do on Facebook Lives and go live or Instagram Live and then just forget and it's gone. Make sure you take in these assets that you're creating, these things you're proud of, these videos you're proud of, which you'll hate 6 months later, by the way. Take them and send them in your newsletters, post them in your socials. Make sure people know about these things and send them to them often because if you're doing this properly, you'll be creating evergreen content that is useful in 2 years' time, 4 years' time, 5 years' time. And so that's something that you can use and keep sending to people all the time. On my Netflix channel, on the King of Video YouTube channel, you'll find a few playlists. So I have different things that I talk about. A lot of people will ask me like, should I have multiple YouTube channels? My answer is usually no, because every time you add a new channel, it's double the effort, and it's hard enough getting people to create content for one channel, let alone double. So instead, just create playlists, have playlists, and let people go and choose which series of videos they want to watch. So think about it again like Netflix, and you're looking at the TV series and you're thinking, which TV series do I want to watch today? Is it the one about gear for video? Is it one about editing? Is it the one about production? Whatever. Create those playlists just like that you would seasons of a show. You can use them for short-term assets as well, like live video and challenges and things like that. But I really want you to focus on as assets. And I think if you're in a business and there's multiple people in the department, if you went to them and say, "Oh, we've got to create video content," a lot of the time, "Oh God, we've got to create video content again." But if you said to them, we need to create some better assets from our business," then the proposition is different. There's a great book actually called 21 Assets by Daniel Priestley, where he talks about digital assets. So if you need to understand, which I'm sure you don't, about the power of digital assets, that's a great book to read as well. And then this know and trust factor, I think we all understand. If we've been in business any amount of time, we all know about know and trust. What you're trying to do when someone comes to you cold is for them to understand who you are and to believe in you and to like you. And by creating those playlists of those different things, we can do that in a really quick way, because one of the secret hacks for YouTube is, rather than sharing videos, individual videos, you share the playlist with the video that you're trying to send to somebody. And what it means is they'll stay in your playlist. I don't know if you've ever been on YouTube and you recognize that you watch a video and then it says up next or whatever the words are, and it's some other channel with some other content. It's not related to yours. So they only get a chance to watch one of your videos, and then before you know it, you're on someone else's and you've watched 3 hours of YouTube. But if you send them to a playlist, and I sent them to the first one, the top one, for example, it would keep them on my playlist and it would show them all of my
Mm.
videos. And I'm really going to get to know if I like somebody if I've watched 3 or 4 of their videos. If I didn't like them, I'd probably scroll away straight away anyway. So this is a good way to accelerate know, like, and trust factor. The other side note about this as well is you have to have a bunch of content to be able to do this. So again, like Jenna's doing with her interviews, having all those interviews in one playlist, you might call them like season 1 of this series of interviews, or there's a whole bunch of different things that you can do with it to get all of that stuff together. And then the last A is about adding value. So this is about understanding that when you create those signature videos, what I call a signature video, it's an asset, it's a long form piece of content. And then if you use the content repurposing framework that I've got, this is where actually talking about the offer of YouTube for Business or the accelerator, it helps because content repurposing school, which is a course that I've got, is part of that product. And inside content repurposing school, it has this little spreadsheet that you can see here. And this is about taking the video, turning it into 47 plus pieces of content, and then distributing it everywhere. This is how Gary V, Diary of a CEO, any of those kind of, who's the guy, the famous podcaster in the US? I forget his name now. But it's how all, Rogan, what is it, Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah. There's loads of people like that have these podcasts, and that you just see them everywhere. Once you start watching that stuff, you can't get away from them. They're on TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram. Having a repurpose system like this is how they get to do that. You don't want to create one signature piece of content and then not do anything else with it. And this content repurposing framework is exactly the way you do that. Cool. So how do we make money on YouTube then? That's what we're all here for. And if you Google that question, you will find a couple of answers that say, in order to get monetized, we have to have 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours, and then or 10 million shorts views, depending on which route you're going down. But the thing is, that's really not the way we make money on YouTube. So what I'm going to do is show you an example of somebody who only used monetization, which was a magician that I knew. So he came to me, had 8,000 subscribers, 1.7 million views, which is quite a lot. And he was making about £1,200 a month, which is about $1,500 a month. It took him 2 years to get to that point, and he was posting a video every single day. Like, ROI wise, I don't think that's an amazing investment. Now, it will pay off
Right.
for him long term, and £1,200 or $1,500 a month to passively after that is not too bad. But I think with that kind of cadence, it would take a lot of effort. You'd easily get burnt out, I would imagine, if you're running a business as well. And this is all because he had no other monetization strategy. He wasn't planning around this. Now, Since he came to me with these stats, he's gone on to do products and services and stuff as well. But he could have done any of these 8 things. I think these are really the most popular things. Affiliate revenue. Obviously, Jenna's very aware of affiliate revenue. He could have had a membership, a digital product, a course, coaching, done for you services. And the Facebook group and website traffic, they're often not thought about as revenue streams. But if you're bringing people into the top of the funnel with a Facebook group, or you're increasing your website traffic that then leads to sales in a different way, that's still a valuable way to get people into your ecosystem, really, which is what we're trying to do. Of course, I should use myself as an example here. So I said I wasn't a viral sensation. And when I took this screenshot, you can see I was on 1,300 subscribers. I had 48,000 views, but I'd made £40,000 via a brand deal when I had less than 1,000 subscribers. So I wasn't even monetized at that point, and I'd made about $50,000. And that was just from one client who paid for me to create 4 videos for their software product. And then they then went on to hire me for 8 months to run their community. So in total, $50,000 out of that. So you can do it even with a small audience. That's the main thing I'm trying to get across here. And these are the revenue streams that I had. And I really only talked about it from a brand deal point of view. I'd made a lot of money from the affiliate marketing courses and membership and stuff as well. And we used to do done for you services. We don't do that anymore. But you can mix all of these things in. That's what's important to know here. And then finally, an even worse example, a much more lower numbers based example, was this coach that I worked with. We worked with her for 12 weeks. She had 150 subscribers, 2,300 views, and landed a £6,000 coaching client. And actually, this client came along in her comments and just tried to troll her. He said something like, "Oh, the music's too loud in this video." And what we did is we ended up just killing him with kindness. We responded really positively. They got into a conversation and then eventually became a client of hers. So you can do it even with 150 subscribers. Me and Jenna had that conversation about it, but the numbers do not matter. I've been talking to property guys recently, insurance brokers, like people where the value of their leads is so high that actually we don't need to worry about the virality of the content. It's just about reaching the right people and the right types of people that become leads and then obviously sales.
Yeah, I have a contractor client who uses YouTube as a source of, hey, I'm a real business owner. I've been around for a long time. Here's my videos, my testimonials, and everything like that. So I really love how she's positioned her YouTube channel as a source of like, hey, I'm legit. I'm gonna be around in 10 more years.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And it's that Netflix channel thing, right? Like my wife won't buy anything or purchase a service without making sure these people are legit. You don't want to hire a contractor if you're worried about all those things. Is this a person I can trust? Are they trustworthy around my house? Can I leave them on their own? Have they done good things in the past? But if you would seeing them on YouTube, you'd be like, oh, I know. When they come around, you'd be like, oh, I've seen you. I've watched your videos.
Exactly.
It's such a strange thing that it breaks down. I remember when I was doing the Facebook Lives often, a guy came around and he said to me, I know I need to work with you, but I'll come to your office and I'll tell you exactly what it was. He came in my office. He walked past me. He didn't even, there's that like moment where you say hello, you shake hands or whatever. He just walked past me and then sat down, and it was like he was my mate. And I was like, I've never met him before, but he was so used to watching my videos that he'd obviously, all of that awkwardness of the first meeting was just broken away. We didn't have to have it. That was really nice. It was weird, but it was really nice.
That's really
So this is a little guide. The reason why I talk about this, Jenna, I think you'd have probably done this as well, is this is
yeah, I have
my scorecard. What I say is if people that work with me generally get between 60 and 70% on the scorecard. So they're prepped in most areas, but there's still a good three out of 10 that we need to improve on. It might be gear, it might be editing, or all the different things. So it's worth taking this scorecard if you're thinking about getting started on YouTube, because it will just give you an indication of where you're at. It's not one of those scorecards where everybody gets 100%. It's actually much more detailed than that. And then what I'll do is I'll tell you about the accelerator, but ignore these things on here and don't use this QR code because Jenna's going to attach a link somewhere to this video. But there's 2 things that I have. One is YouTube for Business and one is the YouTube Accelerator. And the only real difference with them is the amount of time that I spend with you. So my YouTube for Business products is half of this cost, this investment. and that is to have a once a month Q&A with me that we do inside of the community, and the accelerator is once a week. And that's really the only difference. I do bonuses and stuff every now and again, but all the courses are included. Everything that's in there is all part of both of those memberships. But you just choose whether you want to go fast or slow. Because I think the one where I meet you once a month, it's a bit harder to get the advice that you need once a month. I am in the community answering questions as well. But if you meet me once a week, that's like proper accountability. The guys that are doing that stuff, they're in it to really make progress very quickly. So they're the two things. I'll have the links. So that's it. That is how to make money on YouTube for business.
Yes, and I actually am a part of Matt's community, and I can say that he's got so many resources there, good videos, but also just like documents to help you like with checklists. So he showed and a couple of those. I really like them. Helped me with organizational things and repurposing and just how to put my thoughts on paper about what I'm doing and when and why. So yeah, really appreciate it. Thanks, Matt. Thanks for
No
coming on
worries.
today.
No worries. Yeah, we've got some really exciting stuff to come as well, Jenna. So hopefully you'll see that soon. We've got a new planner that we're creating. We've got a video editing tool that's coming. There's an update. So we're going to do a CapCut version of that. That's all going on next week. So yeah, super excited about that. Thanks so much for having me here with your audience.
Yes, thanks for joining us. I know it was a little late for you, but anyway, we appreciate your time and your experience and your thoughts all around YouTube. So if anybody has any questions, comments, we'd love to hear them in the comments below. And thanks for joining us today.